Welcome to Rock Solid, the Round Rock Business Leaders Podcast. Join your host, Bryan Eisenberg, as he explores the journeys of entrepreneurs and companies across Round Rock, Texas. From startups and nonprofits to large organizations, each guest shares their passion for doing business in this thriving community. Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rock Solid. I'm Bryan Eisenberg, and I'm joined today by my friend Tracy Donegan from Salasta Health. Actually, we have several businesses that we want to get into, but first, I'm going to tackle the big elephant in the room. You're not native Texan.
Yeah, I just have to open my mouth and it kind of becomes very transparent, but thanks for inviting me on today. Yeah, yes, originally from Dublin, Ireland, and we've kind of lived all over the world. We did a couple of years in Singapore and back in Ireland and made the final, fingers crossed, touch wood and all that, move back to Texas and are very glad to be back. We love it here.
Let's talk about what brought you, because you have been all over the world. What brought you to the Round Rock community, and what is it that you love about it so much?
We had, for our sins, when we came back, made the decision to come back to the US, was really for our kids and for opportunities for them. And we kind of came back via California because at that point we were focused on getting a program that we had on preparing for pregnancy called GentleBirth into an app. So we thought, let's go back to California because we got, the biggest and best brains when it comes to tech in Silicon Valley. And a couple of years later, we're like, California just kind of lost its shine for us, got way too expensive. And with two boys who, want all the toys and everything. And it was like, we when we originally came to the US, when we won our green cards in the immigration lottery a million years ago, we came to Texas. We came to Houston first. And people will always say, of all the places where Irish people would go, Houston wouldn't be top on the list. So we knew what to expect, and we had been to Austin so many times, and we just felt like there's quite a big tech community here in Austin, and just you got the hills and the lakes, and we love being back.
So let's talk, because your background is as a midwife. And like you said, in California, you had this tech, you had a couple of apps that you were building out. Let's talk and explore those a little bit.
Yeah, so we started really with a program that was focused on helping women not be afraid of labor, because it's a huge elephant in the room. It's like, we're pregnant, we're delighted, but in 9 months, this little thing is going to grow and then it has to come out. So huge amount of fear around that. So we created a program that was focused on relaxation techniques, meditation, and as we were kind of growing our program, the evidence was growing as well. And it showed that, the more relaxed a mom can be going into labor, the less complications she's likely to have. Her hormones are going to do what they're supposed to do. So it was really all about getting our head out of the way so that we can just let the body do what it's supposed to do.
Chilling the nervous system.
Oh, absolutely. Let's downregulate the nervous system. And it was to help women. It didn't really matter what kind of birth they had. So whether they were at home with a midwife or in a birth center or in a hospital or even having a planned cesarean, these were tools that these women could use just to regulate themselves. And we know now that this, what I call brain training for birth, has an impact on the nervous system of those babies.
Exactly. Months
and years later. So it's like, this is a gift we're not only giving ourselves as moms, but we're giving to our kids as well.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine, Dr. Brooks Hill, and she's working on this concept of generational health and how important it is for, not only the mom, but the dad as well, to pass all of this to their children, because if they're strung up, guess what the kid is going to be?
Exactly. Yeah. It's just, and it's not that, because when we talk about, stress in pregnancy, we can't just eliminate stress, but we know it has an impact on the baby's brain development. It has an impact on our own system. So it's not that we're going to completely, stress is never going to be an issue for us. It's becoming aware of, okay, now my brain has gone off down this rabbit hole, or I talk about the a train of thought. So all it does is help moms become aware, oh, you know what, I'm on that train of thought to stress town. So I can't stop it. The things are going to happen, but we can get off the train sooner. So once we get off the train sooner, it's that awareness of we can't stop stress. We can't go and live in a tropical island for 9 months, but there's ways that we can manage our stress just by noticing where our mind is when we're not looking.
You know, way back in my career, I used to teach high school biology for New York Regents. It's a long story in a private school. But the definition of a living thing was being able to adapt to stress. Yeah. We're going to have stress. Like, that's a natural thing. It's about developing that resilience so that when we get stressed, we know how to come back to homeostasis, right? Get back to that balance point so that we can also get unstressed and then come back to balance. But we live in a world today that's so hyped up, that people are in so much pain, that people are overwhelmed and struggling, that they're finding a hard time deregulating from stuff.
Yeah. And we're in this, constant, phones pinging every minute. Our attention is being dragged all over the place 1 million times a minute, literally. So we've lost our way of training our brain to focus and pay attention where it matters, instead of going in 10 different directions, which is usually 10 different stressful directions.
Exactly.
Rock Solid is produced and recorded at Round Rock Studio. Located right here in Round Rock, our state-of-the-art studio is built for podcasters and creatives alike. We offer multiple professionally designed podcast sets, top-notch recording gear, and a full photography studio ready for any project. Whether you're launching a new podcast or upgrading your existing one, we can help with multi-camera recording, editing, and everything you need for success. Record with us at Round Rock Studio, your local podcasting partner.
So you decided, from the apps, you wanted to have a brick and mortar here in Round Rock. So what's the decision to go brick and mortar again? And I think I know, because it's following the evidence kind of ahead of it. But yeah, tell us a little bit more.
So we've had a really successful exit with our first app. We have another app now called Fertile Mind, which is focused on women and their partners who are having trouble with fertility. So the more with COVID and everything, and for us, it wasn't a huge deal when it came to impact on our work, because we worked remotely anyway. We could work from anywhere. But I'd start to see some of this evidence on photobiomodulation, red light therapy, and I had just been following that, and I was like, okay, this seems like this is coming down the pipeline, and I would rather kind of get in now and start learning about it and working with it before it becomes mainstream. And that's kind of what we did. But it's a very different beast, the brick and mortar beast business to be the digital business and online.
It is. It's funny because I have a really good friend who's in the red light panel business as well, Mark Poirier. He came from providing software for agencies, to then selling these online, in part because of his wife's passion for it as well. But they decided to still keep everything online, and just the tech part, and not open up a brick and mortar store. Yeah, it's a different ballgame, but I'm curious for you, what are the lessons that you're taking from all that success you've had with the apps that you're bringing in to try to be successful in the brick and mortar?
I think a lot of it comes down to being able to reach your audience, and in a way that's authentic and also follow the science. So, over the years now, we're at this now for nearly 20 years in the digital app. It was customer service, and that relationship with the customer is absolutely huge. So for us, it was a no-brainer. It's like, okay, so we're going to have a brick and mortar. It was very different. But what we found out, even with, for anyone who has an app, the app store marketing and everything, it's a huge, burden on small businesses to cover that, because there's 1 million new apps on the app store every day, and you're competing against all of those apps. So what we found over the years was the better our customer service and supporting our clients, the faster we grew, because it was all word of mouth. So we realized, okay, we were throwing a lot of money at app store marketing when we were saying, okay, but a lot of our growth is just coming from connecting with the women, connecting with the midwives, and letting them see the results for themselves. And then it's like, there's no better testimonial than having someone used your product or had your service and said, I can, hand on heart recommend. I've used it. It's fantastic. And so for us, that was a big part of it. It's connecting with your community in a way that we understand where they're coming from.
So is that one of the decisions you made to join the chamber and connect with the people here? Who are the people that you're trying to connect with? So
we are anyone really who is experiencing, pain, having challenges with fertility,
okay.
And there's so much, like we're already collaborating with other Round Rock members here, and it's such a supportive and really nurturing group. Because we didn't really know what is the benefit to joining the chamber, but the more events we attend, it is this lovely community that the team has created and continues to create. So, and oftentimes you might meet somebody, you're like, yeah, I don't know if there's synergy here. And then they're the first people that somebody will call me and say, yeah, so and so. As a financial advisor or whatever, and they're like, okay, well, it doesn't matter where they come from, we're here to help. And I think especially when we look at, for using the red light therapy around pain management and women's health. I know you've had some great guests on talking about, menopause and pain, chronic pain. And it's like, it is for us getting into this space, it was like the technology and the advancements in this area, like the military is using red light therapy. Like if it's good enough for the military, although we have to be really clear when we talk about what red light therapy can and cannot do and what's FDA cleared or approved. And so red light therapy has been cleared for what they say is temporary pain management, increase in circulation, sore muscles. But where we're at now is because, I am, knee deep in the research every day and following where this research is going, we're getting kind of ahead of, we're seeing its benefits for, very chronic pain, like shoulder pain, especially in women, menopausal women, it's a big deal. And their only options are usually suck it up. Surgery, put a heat pack on it, do a bit of yoga, or injections, and it's all quite invasive. So when I started with the red light therapy, I thought first of all, somebody introduced me to it, and they talked about this is energy medicine. And once they said that, I was like,
this is woo woo.
No,
let's stay away from the woo.
No, but on the other hand, I was like, well, okay, but the research is growing. But the energy thing just completely put me off. I thought, I can't do woo. Everything I do is evidence based, and I'm not talking about. There was one study with 2 people in it, and I'm like, that's the evidence. No. We've got to look at robust studies that are replicable. And that's what we're starting to see now in so many different areas. But I think one of the things about red light therapy is that because it's working at a cellular level, it has so many applications, because it's like this idea of if something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So a huge amount of my work is in education. It's because I think some people they'll hear about red light therapy and everybody and their granny got a red light mask for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, they're all over TikTok.
Exactly. So we're seeing it starting to, hit mainstream in these kind of niche areas.
But unfortunately, and again, thanks to Mark, I'm educated enough in red light therapy. It's about the frequency. It's about the energy it puts out.
Yes.
There's a lot to it. And so I could put any red bulb in, and it's not going to necessarily have the therapeutic effect.
Yeah, and it's just become, there's so much hype around it now, and women will go out onto Amazon and they'll see, a $20 device, and that has no information. We don't know if it's been third-party tested. We don't know anything about this, the products that it's been made with, and they're going to take this device home and they're going to use it for a week, and they're like, red light therapy doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think that's having a really significant impact on the industry and on healthcare, because I think it's a huge opportunity to bring these therapeutic devices into so many different aspects of healthcare that can be incredibly beneficial. But because of so much kind of junk out there, and people not understanding how it works, and energy,
it dilutes the message.
Totally.
I'm really curious, because I think people are probably familiar as well with a little bit of the hype, even though it kind of died down a little bit, that, when you're on your telephone and you're on it too long, and you can set up a mode at night to remove some of the blue light.
Yes.
And the blue light has the opposite effects of the red light. Mm-hmm. So why do they buy that but not the red light?
Well, I tell you, let's take a step back. If we look at, because blue light is a whole other, issue itself, but red light, when we look at, how much time we spend outdoors. Mm-hmm. So the average American spends about 93% of our time indoors under these kinds of lights.
And in front of a screen.
Blue light.
Yeah.
So blue light is really great for focus, and it's energizing. It's a very highly energetic wavelength. But we were never, we didn't evolve to live under blue light.
Correct.
We evolved to be outside under full spectrum. So if we're not getting, so blue light in itself is not a bad thing if we're getting the full spectrum, the red and the ambers and all of that, all of the full spectrum and the near infrared, what we don't see. So it's, the issue is we're sitting in front of these screens all day on our phones, under lighting in our homes that is really detrimental to our hormones, our stress response. When we look at, the chronic health conditions today, and we look at metabolic health, we have to start looking at our, what I call our light diet. Yep. And what are we doing? Can we swap out these bulbs for something that has more full spectrum? And now we know that you can actually purchase full spectrum LEDs, lights for your home. So it's not that blue is bad, because now we're seeing in the research, blue itself, I think especially 415 nanometer, is now being shown to be a great tool for any of the women that will be watching today, for candida, for yeast infections, BV, and for turning what were antibiotic resistant microbes, making them less antibiotic resistant. So we know we've got a huge issue with everyone being antibiotic resistant because we'd been taking antibiotics like they were Smarties. Yep. And now we've got this resistance problem. But now we're seeing in the studies that blue light can actually shift the microbes so that they are now receptive to the antibiotics as well. So we can use the light in collaboration with antibiotics and other things that we already know are a standard of care.
It amazes me, again, just how big the pain industry is, right? We've talked about, and we've had Dr. Malone here, and we've had Ken Mensch, and we've had several others just talking about pain. Yeah, there's a great article in the New York Times, and how many people are in some form of chronic pain today. Yeah, and they'll try anything. And obviously the worst ones is they'll go for the NSAIDs, right? All these pills, the Advils and all that, that are destroying their liver, destroying all of that, instead of seeking all these other kind of answers. Why do you think people struggle with trying to find alternative solutions?
The word alternative. That's a big part of it.
Okay.
I think we have to build up really train the medics now to see that this is something that can be an add-on in your clinic, or it can, for some people, it might replace your whole clinic. I think there's some chronic conditions that NSAIDs and having to have, cortisol injections or different devices implanted into your body, they're all invasive. Mm-hmm. And for some people, I think if you've been living with chronic pain and someone says, I'm going to put something in your brain that's going to help you, I'd be the first person in line. Because there's the mental health aspect of chronic pain is not talked about as much, and people are, they're almost gaslit into thinking it can't be that bad. But a lot of my work is with women who are dealing with chronic pain, and chronic pain that we don't really talk about. Like it's pelvic pain, it's
hip pain, shoulder pain.
But it's internal pain. It's vulvodynia. It's like it's affecting their sexual health. But it's kind of, we don't want to talk about it. And we know that the therapies we have available now aren't cutting it. They're just not helping women. Mm-hmm. So like when I see women in my clinic coming in who are at the end of their rope, they've done the medication, they've had the injections, and they're like, okay, this alternative thing, somebody told me I should come try it, but it's a laser, so I'm really worried about it. And then it's, educating them that it's therapeutic laser, because especially with women, if they're coming, some women will have they'll have done like laser hair removal, So you've done laser hair removal, for anyone who's watching, it's not quite painless and it stings a little bit. Therapeutic laser does not sting.
Okay.
It can have a little bit of a warming effect, but it's painless. No side effects. Like the body of research now is showing no side effects. It's quick. When I see women, they're not coming to me for 12 or 16 weeks. They might be coming to me for 2 weeks, and I'm seeing them for like a couple of sessions. Give us an
example of someone who may have come to you. So this way, people can kind of get a sense of who belongs showing up at Salasta Health.
So for someone who, it depends really on, the condition that we're working with. So for someone who is coming for, let's just say, the shoulder pain. So menopausal women, shoulder pain, again, they've done the yoga, the stretching, the heat pack, they need something more and they don't want to be taking medication. So again, based on kind of, how they've, what they're doing, how they're being treated at the moment, I have one woman that I worked with recently who's had 10 years of chronic shoulder pain and wrist pain. And her work is very manual, so it's affecting, her income.
Everything.
Never mind her quality of life.
Yeah.
She has to sleep sitting up. So it's like for 10 years, how, I can't even imagine. But she had been recommended to come in and again, give it a go. Let's just see how it goes. And she saw about 50% relief from the first session. Now, the first session takes the longest because it's a full intake. We're going through your medical history, but it also includes a laser therapy session at the end. But the laser therapy session, especially for pain, we're probably talking about 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes even less.
Okay.
So for that woman, we'd had, I saw her twice in 1 week. And then I saw her once the third week. And that was it. 3 sessions. So once we've done the intake, so her next 2 sessions were like 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And she is now pain-free.
So if someone recently had a surgery and they had some pain, they should probably come in and not have to deal with it for long?
They should come in before the surgery because we'll activate the lymphatics. We will start the body, anticipating we want to get all of these healing,
systems.
To the area, before we even, injured the body and caused that trauma. But yeah, so what we're seeing in the research is the sooner you can get to the therapist, the quicker you're healing.
If only we knew someone who might fit that bill.
If only we knew somebody. Yeah.
So tell me, what is it that you and your husband and your kids enjoy, when you're not working all kinds of crazy hours? Yeah,
it's we're your typical entrepreneurial family. So we're all usually, in different parts of the house working. But we like to get out and walk. We like to get downtown to Austin just to kind of, there's so much to see here. And we've got 2 dogs, so they like to get out and walk as well. But, now that summer started, we're kind of got to get out
smaller
early,
window of the day,
earlier in the morning.
Which is great light to get.
It is the best light.
Yes.
You want to get that near infrared, early in the morning, sunrise, it sets the brain, the whole circadian. It's
also not 1,000,000 degrees. So all
perfect.
The pluses.
I know. It's free. And then get out around lunchtime as well. There's a great app called D-Timer that you will plug in your Fitzpatrick scale, which is kind of your skin type. It'll look at where you're based and it'll tell you what's the safe amount of sun for you to be out at the moment, because we're seeing this new evidence around not having sunscreen on and not wearing sunglasses. So that's all turning
and something
around.
like 70% of the population is vitamin D deficient.
At least.
It's some crazy number. Yeah.
But what happens is, and again, this is kind of mainstream medicine, is the answer. Get a little bit of sun and take a supplement. But the supplement, because when I work with especially women who are dealing with fertility challenges, they are all deficient. They've all had their bloods, they are all deficient. And they're automatically told to start on a vitamin D supplement.
Yep.
That's only one part of the puzzle. When we get sun, that full spectrum sunlight, the vitamin D that's created in the body for a hormone, all of those sex hormones, everything we need is out there. but we're not getting it. And it has like something like 40 more metabolites that we're not accessing because we're taking a supplement and we're indoors.
You know, I'm just going to leave this here and then we'll kind of wrap up. We are one of the most obese countries in the world, but we also have the most gyms. And you go all over Europe, you go all over the Middle East, you know, they're outdoors, they're working out, they're riding bicycles, there are gyms on the beaches, there's in the parks everywhere. Here, we're running indoors to get more blue light. I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. Tracy, if there's any way that people wanted to connect with you and have questions, what would be the best way to find you?
Yeah, and they'll find me all over social media. The website is salasta.health. They'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, and and please, if you have any questions at all about this therapy, how it works, don't worry about, the most embarrassing thing you can imagine. We've heard it all before, and I really love it. For me, my heart is really in women's health. I think we've neglected women's health for so long, and it's time to put a focus back on helping women feel good about themselves again.
Thank you for everything you're doing for our community.
Thanks.